Hey, we're Ultimo Dave and welcome back to the channel. Today, two decks for you. We've got my old favourite Selesyna Auras in a grudge match against 11's MTG. They are on a brand new spanking build of an Oculus deck playing Eldritch Evolution and Neoform. So a little bit like the deck that's been around a while with a little bit of a spicy twist. Decks on the screen right now and in description, you can go and take a look at them. And just, you know, if you want to still see magic content, come and hit the subscribe button. We're so close to 500 and we're going to be doing a massive giveaway when we get there. So without any further ado, I'll take you to the content. Hope you enjoy. And we're here with Scott, 11's MTG, watching the grudge match for the ages, mate. Me versus you. I was on Selesyna Auras, you're here on Sultai. It's just fun to see these decks up in the meta. They're sort of both decks that have been Pioneer past, have had a little bit of either a turbo upgrade or a slight change of direction, and here we are demonstrating them on the channel tonight.
Yeah, Selesyna Aura's got a lot of cards from Duskmourn where there's just a whole bunch of random stuff that's fitted in different places all across the deck. In terms of the Sultai Oculus deck, it's essentially the old Neoform deck, but we decided fairly last minute that I would come down to Pioneer and help you record, and ended up brewing up this absolute monstrosity to play.
Similar to the decks that have been seen just brewing around online. You can never go wrong putting Thoughtseize and Fatal Pushes in. Also, when you're looking to Neoform a 6-drop into the 7-drop Atraxa, Tassica is cool in black, right? So it doesn't feel too restrictive to go those 3 colors in Pioneer, especially when you are on 8 elves and looking to maybe Eldritch Evolution into an Oculus itself. But you know, why change this? Why change the memo? Turn 1 Thoughtseize. As far as a keep, I didn't feel like it was an overly sketchy keep because, you know, knowing you were on a black deck, like I said, this is a 2-creature, 2-aura starting hand, which, yeah, I think, again, either creature's right because it sort of, like, restricts the power that it's given. But I do like this creature, this new scavenger from the Duskmourn set. Anytime enchantment enters, or you unlock a room, you get +1/+1, which is important with Light Pause. Light Pause, the enchantments enter, they don't get cast, so you still get the triggers.
Yeah, it's a little awkward in that it's making Fatal Push actually live against your deck as opposed to it being pretty much dead when you're just playing stuff like Toadstool Admirer and everything else just has hexproof. Shelter by Ghost is really good as well. Like, that's exactly what I was saying about the deck being vulnerable to Fatal Push. You're just mitigating it completely.
Yeah, I'm making your Fatal Push a 3-drop removal spell in this spot, which if you take the turn off to do that against me, I'm much well happy with.
Yeah, that would involve actually having the Fatal Push, so...
Instead you go and whack down modern staple Falagi Archaeologist.
And get him with the Elvish Mystic as well. Got to get that. Got to get those beats in. Of
course, they are the beats, and also like the thing which keeps me on my toes with the auras. On this particular case, I was lucky enough to still obviously have the glitters into ethereal armor. Like, that's a lot of damage to sort of start stacking up. Obviously, counting is difficult, and it took me a couple of tries. As you can see, this was us getting in for 9, but ultimately or 13 actually. But the ethereal armor there was the reason we doubled up the damage and you know, started getting our life up there and getting the beats in.
Yeah, we're at the point now where the game is looking pretty difficult for me to win, especially with no play on that turn as well. We're both playing very assertive decks where we want to be getting ahead and staying ahead. So in this sort of situation, you've kind of done your thing and I haven't done my thing.
Yeah, and there's light pause, and with the new threat of keeping 1 mana open, so big thing that light pause always was, it was vulnerable to removal. You're getting an Oculus down, which is great, and getting the manifest there on upkeep, but with a light pause out and two +1/+1 for all enchantment spells in play, this is gonna get pretty big pretty quickly.
Yeah, your deck still is your board still is vulnerable to removal. So if I can peel a Fatal Push and kill the 1-drop, or even kill the Light Pause, that sort of thing, you flooded out a little bit as well. So
this deck never sees 5 lands ever. It's this playing 19, so this is the top end of what I ever seem to get.
Yeah, by virtue of Oculus just kind of being that army in a can, I can continually just present blockers until you've got trample on either of your things.
Yeah.
Then I'm kind of fine. But
Yeah.
Light Pause obviously very good at tutoring up Audacity to give trample. So
yeah, and that was the key one to get here. Lots of key ones you're looking for. Your 2-drops, when you got all the glitters, you're looking probably to get Sheltered by Ghost to be able to Oblivion Ring your opponent, or also the other way around. Ethereal Armor is the key 1-drop, and then the key trample 1-drop is the green 1-mana Audacity, which I was going for here. Having a little think about, do I hammerhead you at this point? Make it that you can't block with the manifest creature, make you block with the Hooted Mandrills, but then ultimately I could just have a huge creature and go straight down the middle instead.
yeah, I think the Audacity just accomplishes mostly the same thing as the Hammer Hand, where I'm going to be taking a lot of damage and losing at least one of my creatures anyway.
Yeah. So getting in there, I think we got the EV triggers out. Yeah, looks so far. And again, just to counter, Magic Online does this for us. Thank you so much to them when playing this deck. However, in this particular case, all we know it as is it's a lot, and I think it was 15, which took us to just up to 69. So Keck W on that one. Oh, I stuck on 70. No, it was 70. Oh yeah, 70 it is, and you're down to 4.
It is.
It's a long way back.
Come back.
It's a long way back from here. Definitely it roots to come back though, and another reason for why I was splitting the auras a little across the two creatures. Fatal Push is tough. You're able to Fatal Push something if you grab one. You're likely to find one off this Atraxa. So having the ability to continue a threat pumping is important. Atraxa is still, even though we've had Valgaroth in the most recent set, Atraxa is still the absolute baller hit for any reanimated decks and things like this, or transmog decks. So just helps you just catch up, really, doesn't it, in all senses of the word.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways Valgaroth is an alternative pick that you can go for. Like, for example, Phoenix cannot beat a resolved Valgaroth almost ever. So Atraxa just being able to refuel me here, pick up a couple of pieces is pretty good. As I said, it might be too little too late when I'm at 4 and you're at now 65. So it is probably a little bit too little, but which is weird to say when you're talking about an Atraxa for 2 mana. But it just shows the power of the Auras deck, really, where an Atraxa picking up 3 cards, one of which is a removal spell, isn't good enough.
And something we thought about and talked about after this is something like Path of Peril being a potentially active sideboard choice. Whilst you take away the Shelter by Ghost and leave me with a much smaller creature. Some would look at that and have gone, why didn't you get rid of the threat of Light Pause? Well, I am just down to 2 cards in hand. And as you see, yes, I did actually just top deck that Audacity, which then, without there being Ethereal Armor on the field, means I can go get another one and have a big thing to do. But
or you just get a Hammer Hand.
Yeah,
say Atraxa can't block and kill me.
Yeah, and I did the right play. Surprised to me that one, Scott, as we would move to sideboarding. Talk us through what you brought. Obviously, you just brew this deck. As far as just brewing this deck up, whilst I bring the manifest tokens across, like, what was the game plan?
I basically just put in a whole bunch of removal. From my standpoint, seeing you play the Auras deck quite a bit, it's one of your babies. The biggest problem is when you run out of creatures, and if I can dodge Glade Cover Scout and Toadstool Admirer to a certain extent, then it's okay. I can hopefully take the Glade Cover Scout with Thoughtseize if you keep it in hand, that sort of thing. But if I just have removal and seeing the new Duskmourn card, seeing you go back to Light Pause, that sort of thing, you are more vulnerable to removal now. So just try and get an Oculus down as quick as possible and have just enough removal spells to get there.
Yeah, what the Duskmourn cards have done to sort of adjust the deck's game plan. You used to have to super turbo and have absolutely nothing other than go for it within 1 or 2 turns. Now it's build a wide army and stick it for the threat, because you can protect your threat once you get enough mana to do so. I chose in sideboarding, as you can see, my beautifully signed Benton Madsen Glade Cover Scouts hit the yard, to know that you were probably going to be sticking removal, so keep a bunch of creatures in my opening hand, so get them down, get you removing them, so that, and then with the double Audacity, that's a double card draw. If you Fatal Push me, I would take you using 3 mana for me to draw 2 cards any day of the week.
Yeah, but I also kind of just have to. That's 5 damage every turn. You drawing 2 cards isn't great, and I know you have the backup Toadstool Admirer in hand. My only hope is, from this point, that you don't draw any auras to augment whatever you play.
Yeah, absolutely. The trade-off of not having the auras, though, is of having the creatures is not having the auras, and you don't have any threat to you until you start growing your team. So yes, okay, we have another Toadstool here. We have another one of the little white one drops. We're gonna put in all the glitters on. We're gonna pump it up, but that is still a very vulnerable card. You know, the Ward 2 you could take that away in quite a heartbeat here.
Yeah, you taking it quite slowly there, not attacking with the 4/4 into my 4/4, but I top decked the Neoform that I needed there, so...
Oh, no way, that was a top deck.
Oh, it certainly was, yeah. My hand was not good. My keep for this game was not good.
No, that's the way it plays out. Like, again, you know, going second, thinking I'm going to see more draws into the auras. There is the option with this particular sideboard to bring a Ley Line of Sanctity. I had a little bit of a sort of gut feeling of you may have like removed things like the Thoughtseize and gone into removal heavy instead. So obviously you kept the Thoughtseize in, correct call. And then when you pulled this set of 10 cards off Atraxa, I am pretty sure we're going to game 3. But yeah, seeing what the additional texts were, like the Tear Asunder, was very useful for choices in the game.
Yeah, just having access to either Fatal Push or Tear Asunder, where you can sometimes snipe off a really important All That Glitters, or nabbing a Sheltered by Ghosts to get a blocker back, that sort of thing. So it's just pretty good optionality. I would have played Path of Peril, but I don't have any. I couldn't find any in my bog box.
It's an expensive hangover of standard Path of Peril. It was such a popular card of such short supply. I think it's quite an expensive card for a sweeper as well. Whilst you're getting in for 7, this Atraxa I can't deal with without a Shelter by Ghosts. That's some of the harsh realities for me. So everything that I need to do now is either grow my team as quickly as possible or dig through to find some kind of answer.
Yeah, the Falagi pick up the Neoform, cast the Neoform, sacrificing the Falagi to get an Oculus is something that I did quite a lot over the course of the day, and it was really, really good every time I did it.
Yeah, it's it's all got good hits, and again, here's the Shard Mage's Rescue. Absolutely not how you want to do this, but you did Thoughtseize me, so I needed to not lose the potential value. Top decking away here. Yes, an Alpha Authority is no good here. and we're scooping and going to Game 3. And before we go there, it is really important that we mention our sponsor, who provide our lovely bulk boxes. That's bulkbox.co.uk. They currently are about to release their new line on their website in the start of November, but until that comes out, you can still pick up single boxes. These are by far the best quality bulk boxes that are available to buy, and they ship to you directly in the UK. All sustainable materials and have a very reasonable price too, but it could be an even more reasonable price if you use the code OldEmo10 at checkout. This will get you 10% off. It'll help us back here to make these videos, but we can't recommend it highly enough. Scott, you have one, I've got one. Game changers, right?
I need another one actually, because my one is now full because I've spent too much money and bought too many bad cards to put in the bulk box that I'm not currently playing. And I need another one now.
So there we go. Go treat yourself to a bulk box, so you can keep your cards around, so you can play auras too, with a timely fatal push. Waiting until I targeted there did slow down what would have been quite an explosive start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fatal push is one of the pillars of Pioneer, and it's very, very good for that reason, where you can just completely disrupt whatever your opponent's doing, and being able to take the light pause and fatal push the last one drop, you're now out of creatures. That's what I wanted to do.
And here probably is the argument for, like, not what a lot of people don't do, and especially in locals, is re-sideboard after game 2. And a little bit of sort of like watching this back, self-analysis. You put Late Island Sanctity in if the Thought Seize is going to continue to be a problem. I should have acknowledged you still had it and then tried to spike it for game 3, because I had enough threats there and you weren't that fast that I could have got myself to a turn 3 and got a light pause down that I could have protected. So, you know, every day's a school day, and learning to play better Magic is what we're here for.
Yeah, so you do draw the Gladecover Scout. It's a very nice creature to pick up.
I am complaining like a little whinge, but like that's the reasonable draw.
Yeah, it's very, very good. You even have Ethereal Armor to go along with it. Drawing the Hammer Hand is a bit awkward because you don't have access to it later on now. But we did the Phalangian to Neoform thing. So now we do Phalagi pick up an Abrupt Decay, which is another spicy little one-off that I've got that I like to play whenever I have the option of just play one, because it feels like it just answers most everything in the format.
Yeah, such an array of spells available in the Pioneer format that sort of they do the job in the right exact occasion. Like Fatal Push is great, but it's also nice to have like a go through the throat around. We get a Griff Spoon down, but I do love an Abrupt Decay. Handy for the little hits that they can't, like Rest in Peace is a good hit with that one.
Yeah.
You're basically Benny beating me here. We've got a decision, Scott, and I could be dead to a flip, and how this goes is you're giving me an option.
Confirming which one you want to block.
Now the mind games go, and this is, if you ask me, as you can see, I missed out on the mind games. I missed out badly on the mind games. As a rock, paper, scissors professional, I would tell you, excuse my signs there, you always go with your first choice. However, well played, GG. It's a very strong shell, this Oculus Neoform Eldritch Evolution shell. We're not near final form, Scott, but are you vibing this as being something we need to keep in the tank and keep an eye on over the coming weeks?
Yeah, I want to try Thundertrap Trainer in it as well, which is another 2-drop that can find the Neoform and then be Neoformed into Oculus. Yeah. I don't know if I want to drop the Atraxa Delve side of things, maybe try and do something else with my graveyard. Maybe it's just hardcasting Oculus. Maybe it's play some Murderous Cuts, that sort of thing, but Elf plus Eldritch Evolution and Phalagi, Thundertrap Trainer, Satyr Wayfinder with Neoform, that sort of thing is really, really powerful.
Yeah, excellent thing, and I still love Auras. It's definitely had a rebirth. We've got to do a few things to tune it. I am considering a banned version in the coming weeks. Keep an eye out for that on the channel. If you are watching this and you haven't already seen our previous videos, go take a look, and please like and subscribe. We're super close to 500 now. It'll really help us and make me really happy when we get there. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Scott, any final words?
You'll beat me on camera one day.
See you on the next one. Nice. I actually forgot how quick that last game was.